It's very interesting. We obviously are aware of the fact that God has ordained a period of time which scholars typically call the church age, or it goes by several different designations. That obviously began in some ways of measuring in Acts chapter 2 at the Feast of Shavuot, we call the Feast of Pentecost. And it's continued for the better part of 2,000 years. God never leaves himself without a witness in the Scripture. Normally when we think of the church, we think of the book of Acts, but it only covers about 30 years. Isn't it strange that God would have no comment about the remaining 1,900 and some? And it turns out he does, amazingly enough. And we're going to discover this primarily in the book of Revelation, chapters 2 and 3. Now, there's another problem we're going to face that you may consider it a blessing, because in our Revelation study, I think we took a better part of 8 tapes to cover what we're going to cover in 2 sessions. And so we're going to go rather lightly, not too deep. Some of you say, boy, I'm relieved to hear that. Chuck usually tells me more than I really wanted to know about whatever, so you can count that as a blessing. My motive is to give you perspective and overview, and yet at the same time intrigue you enough to get into it more deeply. So we're not going to try to be exhaustive. We can't possibly approach it on that basis. But I think it's useful as we jump into this topic. Since we are going to be in the book of Revelation, you should understand that the book of Revelation has some amazing uniquenesses. One of the things that makes Revelation so unique is that it's the only book of the Bible that has a promise of blessing to the reader. No other book in the Bible has the audacity to say, read me, I'm special. All through the Bible, you have admonitions to read the Bible collectively. But only one book says, hey, read me, I'm special. And any time you sort of feel in the mood for a blessing, you know how to do it. Pick up the book and read it. And you'll discover all through the book it reinforces the fact that it is intended, it is committed, it is ordained by God to offer a special blessing to the reader. And let me tell you, as someone who in effect has been in and out of this book for 40 years, I can never read it without making a discovery.